Hello, guys. Welcome. Welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Teachings Lotto Friday Special. Hope everybody is having great weekend, great Saturday, great Sunday. So, guys, amazing Friday. One of the best Fridays. The Lotto Fridays we had. We had a gamma squeeze last week, and this Friday was amazing too. Traders having one of their best days. A lot of traders having, six-figure day today because of so many repeatable setups, so much everything that I teach, education, great comments by our all our senior traders in the community with like Tape, VD Trades, and everybody else. So, anyways, a lot to recap today. There's a lot of to learn how to learn this system and how to trade for exponential gains on Lotto Friday. So we'll cover all that. Let's do a quick introduction, guys. So anybody who's new to my YouTube, new to my Twitter, or new to Twitter X, or was a new member of the community. So all these trade recaps and all these teachings are from anything that I share on X, on my previous YouTube videos, or anything mostly from my community trade recaps. We trade a repeatable system, a Ripster EMA Cloud System that I invented many years ago, and this system is used by thousands of traders across the world to trade consistently. We do not trade random. We have repeatable setups, repeatable system. We repeat the same things in and out every day that I show you my timestamp guidance, and I show you the how we trade every day for the success. Every morning, me and my team, we create a game plan for the community, which I did share with by my Twitter followers as well. In this morning, you see the game plan in front of you. We have earning plays, breakout plays, market plays, upgrades, downgrades, and you can see that our top plays, Costco, AVGO, I highlighted those in red, big plays today. We have a support level, we have a resistance level, which tells us whether we are going to be short or long, where is going to be our risk. And we have initial bias, we have an initial game plan that we trade with, and we change the bias based on what our system tells us. We will cover those examples. In addition to that, we also share what we call as our day 2, day 3 setups. These are my repeatable setups. Another repeatable strategy that I did a free webinar as well. You can learn this by watching these recaps, or you can come to our community where I have many webinars which cover all these setups. We have PowerPoints and webinars, which I do 2 hour long, showing the setups, where to enter, where to exit, all these webinars that I do free, and the recordings are in my community. These were our day 2, day 3 setups. We'll cover a few of them, Adobe and UNH, our top day 2, day 3 setups. In addition to that, we also provide daily levels for SPY, QQQ, IWM, and all the market index plays, which we can trade using Ripster EMA Cloud System and based upon the support and resistance pivots that I provide. In addition to that, we also provide crypto levels, trading the crypto stocks, Coin MSTR, Bitcoin, Mara. And we also trade low floats. We have a low float room. We share the low float list, and we also share the IPO list to trade these setups. Where the market open, I'm on the voice for first 2 hours, and if it's something really crazy day, I'm usually on the voice most of the day, but I guide, even if I'm not on the voice, I guide my traders through the community all day. In addition to that, we have hundreds and hundreds of traders on our trading floor all day, sharing ideas to find the more opportunity in the market to make money. Very seen a lot of senior traders in there sharing amazing ideas. That's how we work as a family, as a group of traders to make profits and account growth in the financial markets. We have a lot of tools we provide in the community. We have 3 or 4 option scanners which are free. You can use them in the community. We have stock scanners. We have the breaking news alerts, audio news scanners. We have Bookmap, and also I'm on a live screen share as well every morning till end of the day, sharing the live screens. Anyways, I will show you my timestamp guidance step by step on all these trades that we did today. Today we'll focus on the options more, lot of options. So I'll show you how you could make profits on these option lottos. Market is really hard. We really focus on the catalyst plays this Friday, and we will walk through them and discuss those. All right, that's in introduction. Let's start. We're gonna start with SPY QQQ. If you're a new trader, you do not know what SPY QQQ is. Make sure you go and read about all those basics that I teach on my free website, ripstereducation.com, or watch the previous videos. A lot of those things are based upon my system. All these indicators you use are based upon my system that we use, and it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy if you have a basic knowledge of the stock market trading, day trading, swing trading. You will understand what I say. If you do not understand about the indicators or about the process I'm discussing, you can Google Ripster EMA Clouds, you can Google Ripster MTF Clouds, and you will find a lot of information there as well. So anyway, SPY this morning was gapping up, and QQQ was gapping up as well. Initially, SPY was holding the MTF Clouds. It was strong, holding the MTF Clouds. It was strong, but then came our 10 a.m. repeatable concept. 10 a.m. is a great concept to trade. 10 a.m. is a great concept that helps you find opportunities at 10 a.m. You see the market tagged at 10 a.m. QQQ failed at 10 a.m. That was our short. That's where the puts went crazy. And let's look at my guidance here on SPY QQQ. So let's see here what's going on. So we were initially bullish on QQQ. We were long on QQQ. So we were long. And then came the 10 a.m. trend time. 10 a.m. trend time, and that's when I said no longs. Under that, I was on a voice, and I mentioned that you can short it, you can short the SPY, you can short QQQs under MTF clouds, and you short from the MTF clouds. Your first target is always the gap fill. You can see there was this gap fill here, and same for QQQ. There was a gap fill. This is two concepts here, repeatable. I have covered in hundreds of videos before, so I'm not going to spend too much time. But the point is, we were short. You can see my time-stamped guidance here all day. Then we also had a curl, which is a repeatable curl setup where we went long, made money on the QQQ. So let me show you that. So as I teach you in the previous YouTube videos, lottos are always 100% risk. You're risking 100% to make few hundred percent. So this was example of 604 put, which you could take once we are breaking the MTF clouds, closer to the clouds. These went from like 20 cents at 10 a.m. They went all the way to $1. So that was on this move, that was a 400% profit. So if you had $200, you made $1,000. If you had $1,000, you made $4,000, right? So that's how it works. So that was a SPY trade. I just didn't give you example. We're not an alert service, but everybody in my community, I'm teaching them. So that was a SPY, right? So that's why I see a lot of traders say they have a hard time shorting it. You can inverse your charts, guys. If that feels better to you, I mean, you can see that we're just buying the puts. We're just buying the puts for the gap fill. If you inverse your chart, you seem like it's going up, but it's bearish. Maybe that appeals to your mind better than fading the short side. But you see, there's an opportunity on Lotto Friday. If you risk 100%, you're still making 400% there, right? So that's our setup. We short under the MTF clouds. We do it again and again, again and again. It's a very high probability system. 80-85% time we have success. If there's a chop, we will leave it alone. Same was for QQQ, but let's focus on the curl setup that I shared in the community here, and I will show you in a minute here. Let's look at these curls. We can check out. Let's look at 529 calls here for end of the day curl. See how they went. So you see that. I sent out an alert at the end of the day that 512 test, right? So that's where we were testing the 512s, right at that time, and we were doing the curls. These are again repeatable setups. I show you again and again. So you take long, your stop is here. And if you want to take a look at how the curls worked out, you can see that the QQQ calls went from 60-70 cents to the $1.70. Right? There's a 100% move on the QQQs. And at the same time, NVDA was also curling, and it pushed a little bit, but it failed the curl. So you get out there. But this is the curl setup. This is the short setup. This is where you buy puts. This is where you buy calls, buy puts, buy calls. Easy trades in the community today. This was not really our biggest trades. You will see the biggest trades in the community later when I discuss it. But SPY, QQQ, short, long. Watch my previous videos. Not want to spend too much time on these, but these are our two winning setups in the community today. All day guidance. Most of my traders or my students or everybody who follows my teaching is already executing those setups. I'm on voice, guiding everybody, telling everybody you should short, you should hold. So make sure that I help the traders to hold their winners longer and cut their losers quick, and so that they can make the profits on these repeatable setups. We repeat them every day. Beautiful trades on SPY QQQ. So next we're going to discuss AMD and NVIDIA. So as you know, the market was selling off at 10 a.m. If market is selling off at 10 a.m., especially QQQs, you know the semiconductors are weak. We track the semiconductors every day. All the semiconductor stocks are on our list each day, every day. So same setup. You see that, let's see here. You see that AMD is breaking the MTF clouds. Right, so just want to wait for the pop. This is a 10 a.m. pop, you take a short here. This is a 10 a.m. Rejections on NVIDIA from the MTF clouds, you take a short there. You can see their guidance by Vin in the community on the AMD short. Beautiful guidance right at 9:42 and 10 a.m. and it was a beautiful short there as well. And even if you took the short on the MTFs on NVIDIA, let's say we would take 136 puts. So let's see how they went. Let's talk about that in a bit here. So you see that NVIDIA puts also went from 50 cents to $3, right? Even if you take it 80 cents, $3, that's a 200% gain, guys. 250% gains. So you risked $1,000, and you're making $2,000, and that's how you did it, right? That's how the traders in the community were having 5-figure days, because they know my teachings, right? You can't just buy, and nobody's buying it. We never touch long. Yes, we try to call here. We never touch the longs. That's what we trade with the trend. You see other communities, other traders might tell you, oh, buy the dip, it's a support. We do not. We track the market. SPY is bearish, QQQ is bearish, semiconductors are bearish. So you short NVIDIA, you short AMD. Beautiful trades in the community. If you look at the levels I give every day, you look here, once NVIDIA and AMD support pivots were broken, you use the Ripster EMA Clouds to take the shorts and trade your Lotto options. You don't really have to trade the options. I talk about the options because to Friday, Lotto Friday episode, but easy short you could make here over like $5 per share profit. You could make another $3-4 per share profit on AMD, right? So those were the trades, and you were risking what? Even if you were short the shares, your stops are right here, MTF clouds over 512 clouds, over 512 clouds. You risk $1, $1.50, you're making $4-5, right? So that's also a great short with the shares. I prefer shares, but a lot of small account traders cannot short, so they use the options. But these are the repeatable setups, whether it's bullish or bearish. We trade both sides, guys. You have to trade both sides. Let's go to the next one. All right, let's look at a Costco here. So Costco was very interesting. Let's see what was the pre-market plan. Our pre-market plan on Costco was bearish buys to short. You see 990 is a resistance pivot. That means support is 980, 992. Over 990, it becomes bullish. Under 990, it stays bearish. Bearish buys to short the pops, only long if 512 calls. So initially you see, okay, let me show you 3-minute candle, and then you will see that. It went fast down pretty quick on the first candle. That was a too big of a move on the first candle, right? So you cannot add at the bottoms. That's risky because you need to see it's already faded from 980 to 968, that $12. But we added up short on the pops, expecting it to reject the clouds. 980 puts, I added the 980 puts. But as soon as it starts pushing over 512, take a loss 20-30% on the puts, get long right away, 1,000 calls. And we'll talk about it. Anyways, so we were short. You can see the timestamp guidance. We were short on those, those puts, 970 puts, or or the Lotto 950 puts. But when it kind of bounced right on our face, we had to take a loss, right? So we stopped out right away, and then we're looking for the longs. So we took a loss there, but then I told everybody long it, breakout over 992 and 1000, and we longed it right away. And from that long, you can see my timestamp right here, 940. Just as I saw this candle pushing over here, I told everybody long it. From there we pushed to 986, 992 to 1004, and at this time the Costco 1000 calls went, we risk 100% on those Costco 1000 calls. Let me show you what happened to them. They went from $1, right? So if I show you a 10-minute chart here, let's see the 940, look at my timestamp. So they went from $1, even if you took at $2, all the way to $9. Look at that push. So if you had $200, you gained over 400% there, right? So that's fine. We lost, if we had a Lotto, we lost on a Lotto 100% on the short side. But as soon as we turn bullish, we make money on that side, on the Costco, and Costco pushed all the way. And we take most of the profits and then we hold. We were waiting for this flag to break out, and so we were holding. But once this 1000 failed, it was a warning signal to get out, and we got out because the Lotto options will go to zero. You see the 1000 options, even they were $10, they closed at 0 cents. So if you had $1,000, they became $0. So you need to understand a lot of options will lose the value if they are not holding the intrinsic or the strike price, and they are going to go to zero. So you have to be fast about these trades, right? So anyway, so Costco, if it broke out of 105, we would have had much better trade. After the morning trade, it just went into the chop. You see, I gave this long versus 190. I 1K Lottos, 1K target met. Costco, we hit $6 at 946, and by 950, 10 a.m., those Lottos hit $10. So even if you took, I mean, some of the traders in the community were actually got a really good entry. Some of them were at 80 cents, right? And they had you see, newbie had at 85 cents, it went to $10. If he had $800, that became $8,000. So that's the power. Look at Renegade Trades. He went Costco from $1.93 to $5 for him, right? If he had $200, he made up $300, right? So that was the thing. That's why you have to get in the long side right away, right? If it's turned into the bullish, right? So once we turn in the bullish on the clouds, our system tells us. If you don't have a system, imagine you are short, and you are getting squeezed because you don't have a system. But we have a system. That's why we turn bullish. That's why you see all these people making crazy profits, right? Loser, but a big winner. That's how you trade a lot of options, guys. You're risking 100% to make. See, look at that. Drew's Costco went from 250 to $9, right? Biggest trade for him for his life, right? So that's how you trade it. Costco 200%. Costco, look at these trades, guys. This is what, no BS, no hindsight, all the timestamp guidance here, pre-market planning. Great lesson in Costco today. Crazy amount of profits were made today in the community. Let's go to the next one. All right, guys, let's talk about one of the best plays today in the community. It was just amazing. It was AVGO. AVGO is one of our top earning plays. This was a pre-market guidance that I shared in the game plan. 210, 205 was our support. 215 was our resistance. All-time highs, long pullbacks, gap fill under 205, breakout over 214. 215, right? So you see that we have all the pre-market planning right here. So let's look at the daily and weekly chart, right? So this is an A+ setup. I have been teaching you this for a long time. Why is it an A+ setup? It's an all-time high, weekly consolidation, breakout, right? So this was so we read the news, we read the overall chart, and this is our repeatable setup that we trade for lifetime, right? So let's look at here. So now we look at the pre-market. So we know the weekly has no resistance on the top. So this is our level right here, 210, and then we have this level right here, 211s. This level, right? If it pulled to this level, we would add. It bounced, we will add. It's pulling candles. You see this and swiping back up. That tells me it's a long, right? I don't know if you can see that, but maybe I can. And when I was on voice in the pre-market, I told everybody that we will long the 420 calls. And that's when I saw the strength right away. I told everybody long 420s. Win was also on top of it, watching for the dips. 220 was the first target. So that was kind of our initial plan, initial long guidance on the AVGO. You can see the 220 target. So once we started to push, first few candles, we pushed nicely. We hit our 220 target. So when we hit our 220 target, let's look at what our AVGO 220 calls were doing. You can, of course, trade shares. The shares went nicely, $6. You're risking $2-3. But if you look at the lotto trades, if you look at our AVGO 220 lottos that we were trading, that I guided everybody in the community, I usually prefer that my traders trade these lottos on their own, but let's look here, right? So let's just go to the 3-minute chart, and I can show you the move on this, the morning move. This is the morning move, right? So let's look at this morning move. So morning move, the lottos were at $2. So once we pushed to the 220s, they went 100%. So that's a 100% trade, right? If you invested $200, you got $400. You got $1,000, you got $1,000, right? So what happens next? We are trying to break the flag here. We are trying to break the flag, not breaking. Then our 220 calls are started to pull back. So we lock half the position. And once this breaks down, we exit the rest of the position. So we exit. There's no setup right now. It's pulling back. So that's fine. We exit, right? And or you hold it to zero. Let's say you you had 20 contracts, you sold 20 and you hold 10 contracts. You had had a $4,000 position and you log $3,000 and you leave $1,000 worth of position in there. So now what happened later we got our midday setup, and this was a great guidance by tape as well on AVGO. So you can see that those lottos almost zero, but now comes the second setup mid of the day. This is called a repeatable 3450 bounce setup. And then we were not able to clear the 222s. We got some profit, that's fine, but then we got 512 calls and 3450. That's where we get long back again. If you long here, your stops are right here, and you long here, your stops should be right 215 or something right here. So then a lot of guidance by tape. A lot of that was a voice guidance by tape today. One of our senior traders in the community, a good friend, on AVGO, because AVGO was it was his lotto play, and AVGO was a gamma setup. Why was it a gamma setup? Because insane amount of call flow was coming in. You can watch last week's Friday gamma teachings that I did when we traded Tesla for crazy wins. So once we curled 3450, we long again. You can long the 220 lottos again. So those 220 lottos are just $1 on that call. If I show you the time right here, you can see that they are just like $1, right? So you can trade those 220 calls, get back in those one calls, use the morning profit, get back in them, and those one calls went $8, guys. So that $100 went 700%. You risked $100, 700%. And how did you get it? Repeatable setup, 3450 bounce, studying the option flow, the gamma, simple things. They're not complex. If you're an active trader, that's what I teach you again and again. That's how the folks in the community on AVGO were, did so good on AVGO all day in the community. Literally, folks made like 6 figures on AVGO trade, just because when something is going 300, 800%. And I give you example of a smaller account. If you have a big account, you're trading 4 or 5 grand worth of these options, or and even if you're trading that, let's say you want to cut 50% risk, right? Let's say usually it's 100% risk on lottos. You're easily making 10, 15 grand, right? If you have 3 grand, 2 grand, you're going 600-700%. You hold it. That's why I stress when I'm on my voice guidance. That's what I stress, that you hold it. You hold it, the lottos. And let me show you when I tweeted about this setup as well. Let's go there. So as the morning tweet, right? I already gave the game plan on Twitter as well in the morning on AVGO. So the same game plan that I had in community. So like I said, what was the game plan? Let's see here. The breakout is over. 214, 215. So same pivot, right? So we had that, and after that, when this setup showed up, this one, you see this 222. So this was the breakout, 222 big seller. We clear that and we go for a round 2, right? 220 call, and there you go, next leg. And then my targets were 223.60 and 225. Those are the 2 targets I gave. And at the same time, I told everybody to do not cut, do not sell. And at the same time, there was so much, tape was on the voice. You can see that, tape on the mixture had 1200%, and a patron trader had 70% on next week's calls. You see this AVGO, John and G had 1600% there on there, because it's not about, we are not an alert, sir. It's about teaching people how you can do it yourself. You don't need me, you don't need anybody else. Once you learn to risk less and win more, you will be able to do that, and you will be able to grow your account. So TAFE was on voice guiding everybody about that gamma squeeze, because there was crazy amount of flow coming in AVGO, right? There was literally just on the 220s, there was 2,000 open interest and 77,000 call flow came in. 225s, 93,000 volume came in. So once we cleared that 220 level, 225, it was a gamma squeeze, because so much flow keeps coming in. I track the flow every day. I teach everyone how to track the flow. You can track the flow. I live track the flow on the voice in the community as well. There was a literally literally so much flow, coming in. I mean, you can see, I don't know if you can see that, it's pretty small here, but this was all AVGO flow that was coming in 220 calls, 225 calls. And I was live real time telling about the flow, and the tape was on. I had to go somewhere, and we were talking about, you see how the community, everybody's holding together. Nobody's panicking. Nobody's cutting. That's how the calls go there. And once you're in the money, you roll into further calls. You buy 225 calls. Let's say you made 4 or 5 grand on your 220 call. Then you go into 225 call. Look at the 225 call that get from 4 cents, $1 all the way to $3, 300%. So that's how you play it, guys. You cannot load like huge position on the lottos, risking your big size account, and it pulls back 20%. You panic. You trade small, try to make much more. If you're risking 100%, you're at least making 200, 300%. That's the game of Lotto Fridays on the options. That's what I teach you every day. This was a gamma setup, A+ setup, all pre-market guidance, repeatable morning setup, repeatable Ripster cloud setup, which all you need to know is it along? When is it along? Chart patterns, downtrend lines, flag breakouts, high of the day breakouts, and you get a position. If you miss the good entry, just take a small position. Let's say you missed a good entry, you want to add here, just take very tiny lotto, right? Even if you take one tiny lot of $100, let's say small account, then you still made $300, $400 by end of the day. So you just have to part of the trade. Closer to the breakout level or the clouds you do, better your setup. So, you can see the whole AVGO guidance here, timestamp guidance, and the pre-market planning, no hindsight, Ripster clouds for the win. Let's go to the next one. All right, let's talk about Tesla now, right? So Tesla has been running, and like I discussed in my previous videos, that Tesla is not done yet. It was bearish in the start. That's fine. You do not touch it on that. If you do touch it, then this is our MTF cloud. Repeatable. MTF test, bounce, MTF test, bounce. When it's bouncing from MTF, it's a C- setup. You can put your stops here. But where I get interested to the long is on this candle and on this breakout. So that's when I told everybody 512 reclaims. 421 I meant is your stop, 425 is the breakout, targets are 429 and 430, and that's a breakout as well. So we pushed from there, we pushed towards 430, right? So we pushed back from that 430 and we pulled back. We rejected a little bit, that's fine. You close your lottos, but then another setup comes right back when it reclaims that this setup, right? So once we reclaim this setup, you get back long in, and I was on the voice. I told everybody there's another breakout coming at 430, and we talked about how much flow was there on 435s. Throw some lotto money into the 435s. I told everybody do that, and that's what happened. We chopped. We chop. It was not like the same as AVGO, but it was still a decent move to make profits. If you were in next week's calls, you did much better. But even without that, the 430 lottos from the morning, they did really well. Let's look at the 430 lottos. And we were trading 435s as well. I will talk about that in a minute. But you can see the 430 lottos in the morning from 140 all the way to $4. Easy 200% there. Then midday calls, use the option charts with the clouds if you can't figure it out on the setups. That's still again pushed, but it will lose value because its price is under 430. It will lose value rapidly. You see the price is not able to break that 430 level. And this area, let's see where it is. Where is it? Yeah, that 432 level. It did break 430, push to 432, and pushing back. At this point, you trade the 435s. You put your profits into the 435s. So 435s were trading at 140, 190. They pushed to 260. You can trade it. But if the breakout is not coming, they will lose all its value. And they can quickly go to zero. Watch my last week's Tesla Gamma Squeeze recap. But anyways, these candles, you can lose a lot of money if you don't trade it well. You can lose a lot of money, so you have to manage it. It was not a clean trend like last Friday, or you can watch our long here a few days ago. That was a clean bull trend. Yesterday was choppy. Today was a lot of crazy wicks, but there was a trade here long, and there was a trade here long. And if you held it at the end of the day, your lotto, you got out with a decent profit. So that was Tesla. Let's go to the next one. All right, let's talk about Adobe right now. So what was the plan on Adobe, right? So yesterday in the community, I told everyone that if Adobe breaks 475, it's going to be a multi-day fade. It's going to be a multi-day fade. That's why it was my top day 2, day 3 setup right here on the top. Everybody knows how to trade day 2, day 3 setups. I teach you guys a lot. Even the free monthly members have all that in the notes section. You can watch my previous recaps. I have a detailed 2-hour webinars on that. And Adobe was one of those huge home run trade today, right? So I told everyone Adobe day to short. I already gave a pre-market planning. You have to get in, and my targets were 465, 460. My final target was 455. And there was no reason to cover. Even when we bounced here, I said only cover if we push over 512s. So I said if pushes over 512s, close your short, but it failed 512, so you hold it or you add back, add more. And Adobe is a great example of a Lotto Friday, right? We'll talk about the curls as well. There was a gamma squeeze, how you could trade Adobe both ways, up and down. So let's look at Force 84. This 460 puts. So 460 put was trading at 40 cents, right? So you can, if you want a 460 puts, that's fine. I prefer 465. That's what I was trading. But if you look at 465 puts, let's say you put $200 in it, 40 cents, right? 100% risk. You got 400% gain. If you have $1,000, they became $4,000. You take 3,000 up, leave 1,000 there. If you left 1,000 there, that 1,000 became another 4,000. You see, it came dip to 6. This dip was right here when it was bouncing, right? You see that? Right, so there was the dip on the 460 puts right here, and then it continues to go. And it continues to push higher. Of course, it gave up because we'll talk about the curls, which was another long. And that's how you do it. Let's look at 465 puts though. If I look at 465s, you see all of them went to zero because Adobe closed over 465. So they don't have any value. Learn about them, understand what is the intrinsic value of an option. I don't have time on this video to explain that, but since it's not closing in the money, they are losing all the value. You see, it was $8. It came to $0. If you did not manage your lottos, you literally lost all the money you had in it. But you had all day to go from 1 to 8, and then you had all day to lock those options either at $6 or wherever, right? So this was 465s. That was $1, went to $4, $5. That was another 400% gainer. When we rejected, you hold it. You hold a certain portion. You do not cut. Whatever happens, you do not cut. Sometimes you make a judgment call to cut, but you do not cut. And from that dip, it went again to $8, 465 puts, right? So these are like, guys, these are 400, 500, 700, 800% gainers. It can only work for you if you show patience. If you load up here, big size, your account is 5,000, you load up 4,000 worth of a lot of options, it pulls back a little bit, you panic, you cut, you're never going to make money. You're going to cut and you're going to lose $2,000 and you're going to step away. Rather than doing that, if you just had $400 lotto option and you held it, you would have made $2,000, $3,000 by end of the day, rather than going crazy at the big size and panicking and cutting. That's what you not do, and that's how you do not play a lot of options. 100% risk to make 300, 400%. So that was the move, guys. You can see the timestamp guidance, no hindsight, and you can see the pre-market planning. Beautiful winner. That's why the traders had 6 figures day in the community today. Now comes the curl, right? So let's look at the curl. So I sent an alert that we are curling right here. I said there was one first curl try at that 252s right here. That curl failed. Then another curl came in right at right here. When that call comes in, right here, and then you long it, and this was again, tape was guiding on that Adobe curls, and that lottos, let's look here, that lotto went from $2 to $8 on the call side. Again, you have to risk 100%, and then you're looking to make much more. And why the curl was effective? Because Adobe is down, guys. It's a down. Look at here. It's down from 550 to 4. It's a down $100. So bouncing $5, $6, $7, it's normal. right? And you know that this call can be effective, and there can be a gamma squeeze, shorts are covering. So Adobe was a great guidance. You can see the tape was long on the Adobe's, right? You see that he mentioned if calls today on 512, he will play the lotos. The call came, he waited, and the call came end of the day, and they still executed, right? A call did that. A lot of other traders in the community, see, you can see Vishal, he did that. Repeatable setups, right? Repeatable setup. Tape was in Adobe Lotos right at 354, and you can see that Vishal was talking about the calls. Look at, these are all the teachings, guys. I'm not pressing buttons for these traders. These traders, just like how I have been teaching traders on X, and you guys, even if you're not in the community, so they're already, look, they took 460 calls, right? So everybody was trading those calls, and shorting all day, for account growth, and pushing it higher for account growth. So all day, guys, it was amazing trade. So market is not going anywhere. There's still going to be trade against. There's still going to be a lot of option trades. But as long as you understand how to grow your account, you can literally, on a day like today, take your account from 10,000 to 40,000 if you do it right. You cannot throw that whole 10,000 in one position. You have to understand what your lotos are. Make sure you watch risk management webinar if you're in community. I think I also have it on YouTube. Make sure you watch that. That will help you a lot. All right, so next one we're going to take a look at is UNH. Let's see at UNH. UNH was our day two. UNH has been selling off. I shared the daily chart on the CEO getting short. You see it's been selling off. 500 is a big psychological level. So I was watching that, and I gave it as my day two. I gave it as a day two setup on UNH 513, 520. And you see that this was the 512 calls on UNH. And as you see, call you long that was a nice long setup in the community there. Let's look at some few more setups. MDB was a beautiful day two short setup, and all day the community was on top of MDB. I can show you that. MDB wave was on top of it. MDB, you can see that he was guiding MDB short all day in community. Jaswinder was on top of it, and there is our watch list. So you have to focus on what you're going to play. You don't have to be in AVGO, you don't have to be in Tesla. You just have to trade something which you 100% focused on. You see the MDB, and MDB was rejected and faded all day. And again, MDB lotos were another ones which were like great, amazing setups today. If you want to look at, let's look at these 280 puts here, right? They started the day at MDB put started the day at $1, $2, and they went to $14, guys, 1,000%. And you don't even need 1,000%. You can take 300%, and that you had a good day, right? Let's say you have $1,000 worth of puts. They go to 4,000. That's all you need, guys. You do not need anything more or anything crazy. This is what you need, how to trade the Lotto options. All right, video is getting a little longer. I'm going to try to finish it faster. MRVL, ARM, both were good longs in the community initially, and then they faded, but it was still a good trade in the morning. I had them highlighted at the open, bullish to long the pullbacks, ARM long over 151. So it pushes, you lock half, it breaks, you get out. It was bouncing end of the day. MRVL was much better, but you could do the 3450 setup on it as well. But there was a nice winning trade from the morning on MRVL and ARM. I did mention it there in the morning. Gameplan, both on the move. So RH was a trade. There was a one loser today in the community, that was RH, because it was all day chop. So I mentioned it long, but the long didn't work. It failed, and our stops were 434. Our stops hit, and we got out. And then it didn't even fade because it held this position, and it went on the chop all day. So this is called gap up and chop. This will happen, and you need to realize that if a stock is not making higher lows, higher highs after 10 a.m., and it's not even breaking under the pre-market lows, it's going to be all day chop. And this was the chop, guys. Up, down, up, down, up, down. That's why it was loser. But you see how we keep the losers tight, and then we move on. Let's go to the next one. So there were some few other plays. DKNG, some traders were short on DKNG in the community. I did mention on the voice, because DKNG was rejecting the MTF cloud, and it was right from our game plan. You can see there DKNG, MTF resistance above. JP Morgan did the rating, but it doesn't have to go up always with the ratings. Sometimes it's a liquidation trap, and that's what exactly happened. DKNG failed right away. This tells you it's a short. Breaks the pre-market yesterday lows, it's a short. Breaks the MTF cloud, it's a short. And that was a short as well. Again, from my teachings, I give you the levels, give you the clouds. So it was all about the DKNG beautiful trade. There was one strong stock in the community today, that was UPST. That was a good one, midday 3450 setup, and it was a guidance by RGV guiding that midday setup. A lot of traders took that long, and then there was a short as well. Tape called a short at 512s here on UPST. You can see that traders in the community all trading UPST long. You can see there I gave the planning, I gave the setups, and it was a beautiful 3450, right from 3450 bounce. You can clearly see that. Another one from the game plan was TOL Brothers. TOL Brothers, the home builders have been weak. They've been selling off for days and days and days and days. And TOL Brothers have been weak since earnings. It was a day 4 setup as well. So I said home builders weak, bearish to neutral, right? 135 was the support. Once that breaks, 135.32 was the support, and you just fade it. Not a huge range, but still was a good setup to short it right from this 135 level all the way to 132 53s. So next one we're going to look up it is ELF. I just want to talk about a few setups on the MTF cloud. So you see that how ELF was over the MTF. That's MTF long setup that came end of the day. Just something to note, these repeatable setups, how to trade MTF clouds. All right, guys, happy weekend. Hopefully you guys can nail the next Lotto Friday or whenever there are a lot of options, and hopefully you can manage your risk well. Remember, there's no easy money. There's no one day to millions. It's a slow grind, slow opportunities. You risk, reward is what matters. If you're risking 100%, you need at least 200% to stay consistent in the stock market. All right, guys, thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.